Without much ado, or without much delay, in today's session, we shall finally arrive at the line to line analysis, word by word analysis of the poem Buying and Selling, okay, by Khalil Gibran. The poem begins with a refrain, right? With a refrain. What is a refrain? It's a line in a poem which is used again and again, right? Refrain is a kind of line in a poem which is used again and again in order to create a kind of special effect, okay. And also basically in simplistic words, in order to refrain is used in order to create a kind of impact on the mind of the audience or the readers, okay. And the refrain is, and a merchant said, speak to us of buying and selling. This is the line which is used as a refrain, that is, and a merchant said, speak to us of buying and selling, okay. So it's the merchants on the deck, right? It's the merchant on the deck who is urging the poet to speak in the poem, okay. So it's as though someone is seeking the words of wisdom from a sage or a seer, right? Seeking kind of enlightenment on the principles of buying and selling. The very opening line, the refraining line in the poem, tells you that here is a merchant who is asking a wise person to speak on the topic of buying and selling, okay. And as demanded by the merchant in the poem, the sermons of wisdom flow in the poem, right? And sermons of wisdom flow in the poem in the form of given prose poem which you have for your study. It the sermons, the advices given by the poet, they frame the prose poem which you have here. The poet begins by addressing the abundance of nature, okay. He begins with the abundance of nature and fruits of benevolence it delivers, okay. If one knows how to work hard and make the most of the fruits of nature, no one shall be bereft of the fruits of earth, right? This is how he actually begins the poem. He means to convey this message that if we work hard, okay, and make the most of what we get from nature, we shall never be bereft of the fruits given by nature, okay. Also it is in exchanging the gifts of the earth that one finds abundance and satisfaction, okay. So hence what we should not do is, we should not be greedy and hoard, right, the produce of the earth. Instead we should share it amongst others, especially we should share the benefits of the earth among the needy ones, right. And this should be indeed done with love and kindness towards one's fellow human beings, and not with force, right. And if traders do not share the benefits according to the poet of their profit with justice, then it leads to chaos in society. This is what the poet opines in the beginning part of the poem, okay. Then obviously as a result of which there would be discrepancy between the rich and the poor sections. That is the usual scenario, right? The rich get richer and the poor get poorer, and this happens when rich people are greedy and selfish and are reluctant to let the poor people have their fair share, okay, of the earth's benevolence, okay. Then later on, the poet proceeds to speak of the different group of toilers, the hard-working people, such as the toilers of the sea. Then he speaks of fishermen, the toilers of the fields, that is the farmers, then workers of the vineyard, then weavers, then potters, and the gatherers of the spices. So this is the list that he comes out in this prose poem, and he addresses them as the different group of toilers, people who work hard, and the poet drives all the above workers to invoke the master spirit of the earth. This is the phrase he uses, right? That he wants all of them to invoke the master spirit of the earth in order to come to them, in order to come to their amidst and sanctify their thoughts and actions. So you see this philosophical preoccupation in this poem, Khalil Gibran's philosophy in the poem, that he wants to invoke this pure master spirit of the earth in order to inspire these workers and inspire their thoughts and actions so that they do not go corrupt, and they remain truthful to the fruits of the earth and remain truthful to share the benevolence of earth with others and not be greedy and help needy people. Okay, then master spirit of the earth, according to the poet, reckons everyone towards, values, ethics and morals while carrying out the trade. So here you find this direct link between the spirit of nature and the ethics of the tradesmen. Okay, the ethics, the treatments are obliged to follow. Okay, should oblige to follow. Okay, and the poet further goes on to caution, he precautions the toilers, these different workers of varied labor, that they should be aware of the barren handed. He uses this term barren handed. Okay, and who would sell their words is the another phrase he uses, the barren handed, who would sell their words for another's labor. And who this reference is particularly, the barren handed who sell their words for labor. These are the middlemen, right? Like that of the brokers, the middlemen who do not work hard, but instead, and they do not participate in any activities, they do not do any work, but instead they take away the fruits of other people's hard work. So according to the poet, these hard working people should be cautious of such middlemen or agents. Okay, and such people, according to the poet, the middlemen, according to him, must be beckoned, they should be called upon to take up the work if they would really wish to enjoy the benefits that follow industriousness. Okay, that follows hard work. They should be taught and asked to work hard in case if they want to enjoy the fruits of their labor. If they want to enjoy fruits, they have to soil their hands, right? So this is what he beckons those people. Then they should be, such people should also be sought to work in the fields and asked to cast their own net at the sea. So these are the words the poet uses. They must be made to realize that hard work and diligence always pays. Okay, then he comes to both the land and the sea that shall yield to the continuous efforts, assiduous efforts, relentless efforts, and fill the toiler's hands with bounty. So sea being one another important aspect of nature, he compares it to the kind of life-giving source, and he brings in this metaphor of the sea as the element of nature which provides bounty and abundance in the life of the farmers and indeed the hard-working people. So basically, towards the end part of the poem, he is summoning the people to come up with their hard work. Okay, so that they get to enjoy the benefits, the bounty of the nature. He is just not addressing the merchants or the tradesmen, but he is also kind of trying to moralize, trying to inculcate some ethical values in crafty people, in street smart people who are the middlemen, who are like brokers, who do not do any hard work, but they take away the fruits of other people's hard work and labor. Okay, so this is how he goes on to the further, the last part of the poem. We shall discuss that in the next session.